One of the things that's so astonishing about the way that Joe Biden dropped out here is that apparently his staff had no idea he was going to drop out. They spent the weekend saying he absolutely 100% was not going to drop out. In fact, Politico says, quote, Biden's announcement stunned White House and campaign aides who up until this afternoon were insisting he'd stay in the race. We're all finding out by tweet, said one Dem. None of us understand what's happening. And that's definitely a great way to run an administration. And again, the reality is that everybody knew that he had to go, but at the same time, nobody was willing to bet on the idea that he was going to go. I mean, as of this weekend, Tara Palmieri, right, a reporter, writes for a variety of publications, she said that Hunter Biden was the one making the call, and he was totally dug in.
It shook a lot of Dems to see, because they don't get most people don't get a lot of access to Joe Biden, and seeing him speak that way, they were like, whoa. This is, to some,
he seemed unhinged.
A lot of people use that word. And yeah, so to your point, like every single meeting he has now, I mean, this is the argument for Joe Biden. He's just not going to be able to survive this, because every single meeting he has, it is going to be every single person that wants to get him out of the race is going to like either record it or like leak it. And it could be really bad.
Okay, but the people who are still with him, Jill, Hunter, right?
Yep.
And Hunter is dug in, I'm told.
That is my understanding.
I mean, first of all, that's amazing that Hunter was the one who was theoretically having impact on this. James Clyburn spent the weekend before Joe Biden announced he was dropping out saying that he supported Joe Biden.
Joe Biden has been through a process along with Kamala Harris, and they have received over 14 million votes to be our standard bearers. That process lends itself well to us getting to the convention as a unified party. And that's what we need to do. I support Joe Biden. He is still in this race. He will be our nominee if he stays in the race. And I think all of us should look for ways to coalesce around that candidacy. Now, I have said, when I've been asked, what will it take for you to change your mind? It will take him changing his mind.
Okay, that was like less than 4 hours before Joe Biden dropped out of the race. Meanwhile, Democratic National Committee co-chair Cedric Richmond on Sunday morning literally said that Joe Biden was staying in the race.
I want to be crystal clear. He's made a decision, and that decision is to accept the nomination and run for re-election, win re-election. And I think that there are those out there that need to hear it again, that he made a decision. He's going to be the candidate. He's going to be the next president. And now it's time to focus on the threat that Donald Trump poses and what the extreme agenda is on the other side.
I mean, it is quite fascinating that this White House is so inconsistent and so crazy that they had let no one know that they were going to drop out until Joe Biden put it out via Twitter. He still has not made a public statement with his face on it announcing something as monumental as, I am the nominee and I am not going to take the nomination. That's an insane thing. The reaction inside the Democratic Party has been almost entirely positive, but of course there's some very bitter clingers, you might say, in the Biden team. Ron Klain, who is Biden's chief of staff, said, quote, now that the donors and electeds have pushed out the only candidate who has ever beaten Trump, it's time to end the political fantasy games and unite behind the only veteran of a national campaign, our outstanding VP, Kamala Harris. Let's get real and win in November. Again, she's a very bad candidate. And frankly, I'm looking forward to them trying this with Kamala Harris. Like, if you had to pick as a Republican, who would you want to replace Joe Biden on the ticket if Joe Biden had to be replaced as a Republican? My answer would be Kamala Harris. Certainly wouldn't be, a Josh Shapiro or Gretchen Whitmer. Senator John Fetterman, he said people pushed out an honorable man, loving father, and great president before an absolute sleazeball like Bob Menendez. Congratulations. Fact check true on that one. So the Clintons, they are backing Kamala Harris. That's not exactly a pure relationship, but let me tell you something that is pure. Pure talk. Oh, yes. There's only one cell phone company that gives you free premium access to the media you actually care about. It's Pure Talk. This might be the best offer Pure Talk has ever issued. Listen to this. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk, on a qualifying plan, you'll get a free 1-year insider subscription to Daily Wire Plus. That is a solid deal. Take advantage of unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data, and mobile hotspot on America's most dependable 5G network for just $35 a month. And you also get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus. Daily Wire Plus Insider Plan gets you access to our entire library of movies, series, and documentaries, including Lady Ballers, What is a Woman, Mr. Bertram, Run, Hide, Fight, and more. Plus, you get all our daily shows uncensored, ad-free. The only way you can get this special offer is by heading on over to puretalk.com/Shapiro. I've been telling you to stop overpaying for your cell phone plan for a very long time. If you haven't made the switch over to Pure Talk yet, now would be the magic moment. Go to puretalk.com/Shapiro today, switch to a qualifying plan, get 1 year free of Daily Wire Plus Insider. Meanwhile, the Democratic press, they were immediately attempting to trot out the narrative that he was a hero. Joe Biden is a hero for dropping out of a race he was losing. That is an amazing statement. It truly is. And it really shows very little respect to Democratic primary voters. There were 14 million Democratic primary voters who voted for Joe Biden. Now, to be fair, there was no real rival to him in the primaries, but that, again, was the fault of the Democratic Party, which lied to you for years, saying that he was perfectly sentient, perfectly with it, perfectly well. That is the reason they crowded everyone out of the primaries. They literally rigged the primaries in order to prevent anyone from presenting opposition to Biden, and only when Joe Biden made the single-handedly idiotic move of accelerating the debate to June and then insisting on doing it in the first place, only at that point did everybody suddenly come out of the woodwork and say, this guy's got to go. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader, he put out a statement saying Joe Biden has not only been a great president, nope, and a great legislative leader, nope, but he's a truly amazing human being, also nope. His decision, of course, was not easy. He once again put the country, his party, our future first. Today shows you are a true patriot and a great American. Again, I'm just wondering how it is that dropping out of a race that you are losing shows that you're a great patriot. Like, really, that's your mark? It just shows you know how to read a poll occasionally, is what it actually shows. Nancy Pelosi, who, I mean, the fingerprints on the dagger between Joe Biden's shoulder blades, the fingerprints belong to one Nancy Pelosi. She put out a statement also saying, quote, President Joe Biden is a patriotic American who has always put our country first. His legacy of vision, values, and leadership make him one of the most consequential presidents in American history. With love and gratitude to President Biden for always believing in the promise of America and giving people the opportunity to reach their fulfillment, God blessed America with Joe Biden's greatness and goodness, which is why I stabbed him directly in the back and tossed his prone body over a cliff. Again, all of the lefties who are currently celebrating him are all people who wanted him to go, which is hilarious. They're all people who are instrumental in his downfall. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so glad that now that Julius Caesar is lying on the floor in a puddle of his own blood, and, you know, I'm one of the people who shoved the knife in him. I mean, now I'm really, what a hero he was, truly. You know, really taking one for the team over there. Ezra Klein of the New York Times doing the same routine. This is what America First looks like when it's a lived ethos rather than a mask for narcissism and ambition. Joe Biden is not narcissistic or ambitious. That's weird. That's weird. John Favreau, again, Team Obama. Again, Team Obama, their fingerprints all over the knife. John Favreau says a courageous and selfless decision. The president did what he's done for the last 4 years. He listened to the American people and put the country's interests ahead of his own. Or alternatively, he got the picture that you guys were going to go nuts on him if he lost to Donald Trump. And so you forced him from the race. And now he's going to be able to blame whatever happens next on Kamala Harris and you guys. So enjoy. Donald Trump, for his part, put out a statement that is very Trumpian. Quote, crooked Joe Biden was not fit to run for president and is certainly not fit to serve and never was. He only attained the position of president by lies, fake news, and not leaving his basement. All those around him, including his doctor and the media, knew he wasn't capable of being president, and he wasn't. And now look what he's done to our country. With millions of people coming across our border, totally unchecked and unvetted, many from prisons, mental institutions, and record numbers of terrorists, we will suffer greatly because of his presidency, but we will remedy the damage he has done very quickly. Make America great again. And that was Trump's immediate response to Kamala Harris becoming the nominee and Joe Biden dropping out. Again, Kamala Harris is not formally there. And then, of course, over the course of the day, he continued to push on this. Well, Crooked Joe just got knocked out, so now I'll have to do it a fourth time. And then he says, Crooked Joe is the worst president by far in the history of our nation. Whoever the left puts up now will just be more of the same. Make America great again. Does anyone really believe Crooked Joe had COVID? No, he wanted to get out ever since June 27th, the night of the debate, where he was completely obliterated. That was the big moment in Joe Biden's demise. I mean, again, that's kind of true. I mean, that it also happens to be pretty rich, coming from the we love democracy. Democracy must never be disobeyed. For the party elite to oust Joe Biden. Like, that's kind of funny. It's a little funny. They're constantly talking about coups, the overthrowing of the will of the people. Well, maybe the people, by polling, don't like Joe Biden at this point, but they certainly liked him enough when they were voting for him in the primaries, and I was under the impression that there was, in fact, a primary process. Apparently, that is no longer. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.